guys, how's it going? Well, I told you I was going to do this. So we've got my mid-2012 MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM, half a terabyte of hard drive, 2.5 gigahertz dual Core i5 with 1.5 gigabytes of video RAM. And yeah, it's separate video. Ooh, nice. Alright, so we're going to pit it up against my M1 Mac Mini, 16 by half terabyte, 8-core processor, 8-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, gnarly engine, okay? We're going to see how these things do fare against each other. So I'm going to start with a game that is actually comparable in that they both run equally as well. And that is going to be Unreal Tournament. And they're both wine wrapped. So these are PC versions of the game that have gone through a wine wrapper program, so I can run them on the Mac. Because let's face it, you can't run Windows on the M1s other than trying to do it with parallels, which.
2291, in an attempt to control violence among deep space miners, the New Earth government legalized no-holds-barred fighting. The Central Mining Corporation, working with the enemy chief, established a...
Now, both machines, the games are at whatever specs it sets them at, which they are maxed out graphics. The resolutions are a little bit different, but that's it. Okay, let's start with the Mini. There's a toy. This game runs really smooth. Come on, I need somebody to shoot. Yes! Okay. Pretty cool. MacBook Pro time. Alright, absolutely great, both machines. Now, on the MacBook Pro, I will get a full screen on its own screen, as long as I'm not trying to mirror a screen. So, and I do get full screen back this way. Alright, so, the next victim up. Unreal Tournament 2004. Again, these are both wine-skinned programs. And I've got them both cranked with the graphics, okay? So I'm going to show you my actual settings, and we'll make sure they are actually exactly identical, as much as we can anyway. Yes, yes, yes. So, full. 12 by 8, 19 by 20. So we 1280 by 8. Oh, we got 1280 by 960. That's close enough. Okay, cutthroat dust match. Let's just pick that one so we can play the same match. Okay, it looks like we're doing this one first. So MacBook Pro is first. Oh, they got me. That gun blowing out that green booger stuff, that's kind of like acid or something, I guess. It melts you. Wow, where is everybody? Yeah. Oh, I hate it when they have those shields on them. Very fast paced. Works great though. Alright, let's go to the Mini.
Play.
Now this doesn't run quite as smooth. As you can tell when I'm trying to run here, it's, yeah, I know it hurt. It's very chuggy. So this could like make you or break you in the game. And I have tried everything possible and to still try and keep at least some of the graphic quality on the Mini, and I still cannot get it straightened out enough for it to play really smooth. It's just not going to happen. So otherwise, I mean, it runs pretty good on the Mini, but it's still definitely lacking quite a bit. Okay, so that's a problem with the Mini. Now let's try Fallout New Las Vegas, another wine-wrapped program. And if you haven't figured it out by now, yes, there are a number of programs on my Mac that are wine-wrapped from PC games, because either we don't have them on the Mac or we can't get them anymore. But I have a buddy who gets me a lot of stuff, and you know, even some stuff, I mean, he just can't get, so we just wine wrap it. And there are games that, like Unreal Tournament 2004, I have the Mac only version. It's not installed though, because it won't run on Catalina. It'll only run on Mojave or High Sierra. So I had to wine wrap a PC version to get it to run on my Mac Pro, and it works actually perfectly fine. Okay, so in our options here, let's see what we've got. We've got Intel HD Graphics 4000, 16 by 10 widescreen, 1024 by 640 letterbox, 4 samples of lacing, anisotropic filtering at 8 samples, and we have vertical sync turned on. Screen effects is HDR, and advanced we have high, medium, depth of field, transparency, waters at medium, waters multi-sampling, depth fog, etc., soft reflection shadows, medium high, etc., and etc. Okay, so that's what we got on this one. Let's hit play on that. On the Mac Mini, it says that we have an ATI Radeon HD 2900 XT card for our graphics. What's really in here? Who actually knows? 16.9 wide, 1600 by 900 letterbox, 4 samples by 8. We have high and high. We have water at medium, and all the other water reflections, checkmarked boxes there. We can checkmark crazy on this game, like medium, high for shadows. View distances are going to be the same, and your distant LOD is going to be the same as well. Okay, so let's get this one going. Now, of course, being wine wrapped, they're both fair because, in a sense, I mean, wine wrapping programs with the Mac Mini, of course, it's an Intel app, so it's not native M1. In fact, nobody's done anything with wine wrap in a long time now, so we don't know if they're ever going to come back to this platform and do anything for M1 or not. It'd be nice if they did, though, because, yeah, there's a lot of games we'd love to run on the Mac that we're not going to be able to do, so, yeah. Anyways, with that being said, you will find differences. I mean, this is a game, too, that has a little bit of demand to it, you know, but it's going to definitely run better in its native territory than being double translated, because it's got the wine wrapper is, you know, you install a PC version in through your wrap, and then from there it becomes an Intel app for Mac, and then it gets retranslated through Rosetta 2 on the M1, where it's basically in its own native territory on the MacBook, because it's already an Intel processor, so it doesn't have that Rosetta to deal with, right? Now we're definitely going to be starting at different places in the maps here. So since this one's already up and running on the MacBook Pro, let's go to it first. Now you can turn the graphics down a bit, still get some really nice high quality graphics, and everything will be fine. But let's go shoot the tree here. So basically we got instantaneous. If there's any lag, it's about a millisecond, if that, maybe even half a millisecond. Now, of course, you can change your view with your mouse scroll wheel. Okay, so let's go to the Mac Mini. Now this one running is actually really good as well.
Now, see the sarsaparilla bottles on the fence there? Take this and try to hit a couple of them.
A little bit of lag there. Yeah, now it's waited and then it fired. Sometimes you get little glitches. And that can be cleaned up a fair bit by changing your video settings. Because you can actually, with some programs, you can clean them up a bit more, still keeping your graphic quality there. I just haven't messed with any of this yet to see how far I got to take it. But see, now she lost a bit of her voice, okay, so I'm in.
Follow me.
Okay, now we're back up, and now we gotta go follow her. So if I fire my gun now while running, works good. So even though there's a little bit of hiccup here and there, it's not a make it or break it, and I can get that to clean up a little bit more by reducing some of the graphics, but not all, and still retaining a lot of my graphic quality. You know, and resolution is something that, you know, if you lower your resolution and keep everything at high settings, with some games, even native running games, not just wine wrap, because wine wrap, it's kind of a it's a pig in a poke. Some games lower the resolution and you get better performance. Others, you can lower it all you want and then take out all the graphics to the bottom end and it still ain't going to help it. Kind of like the Unreal 2004. No matter what you do, no matter what wine tricks you use, no matter what version of Windows you choose to have it emulate under, it is not going to help you for some reason with 2004 Unreal Tournament. So that is a game that I would not recommend for the M1 processor. Okay, at least not being wine wrapped. But you also can't run it under Monterey, so you have to run the newest version of Unreal, which unfortunately is strictly online as far as I can tell, because I tried to download it and use it offline and it says no, multiplayer only, and it's like, you guys suck so bad. But anyways, I prefer single player games. Now on the MacBook Pro, it's a very weak processor. I actually benchmarked both of these things today, by the way. I think my score sheets will still be up. So I wanted to show you that, just for giggles. I mean, I had to do it for giggles. So let's fire up Cinebench. Now this is kind of a thing where you really shouldn't put an old 2012 MacBook Pro up against a steroided M1. But I had to know. So we got a score of 1460. Now I only did the multi-core test, but the MacBook Pro came in just below a 4-core, 8-thread, 1.69 gigahertz, 11th gen Intel Core i7. Okay, it came below it. Now it scored 1460, and the one above it is 3769. So I mean, not the highest performance thing, but hey, you know what? It actually runs New Las Vegas wine wrapped really decently. Okay, so on the M1, of course, we've done multi-core, and it actually pulled out at 7840. So it's actually going just below a 12-core, 24-thread, 2.7 gigahertz Intel Xeon CPU E5 2697 version 2. Okay, so that's respectable. Okay, now one thing I did want to show you is, and then we're out of here because the video is going to get really long otherwise. I want to start these both up so you can see like just how fast the draw goes on these. Well, at least on the M1. And this is just multi-core. Now, actually, you know what we should do? Let's stop. Let's start them both at the exact same time. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. This is interesting. If we went the entire 10 minutes, I'll tell you this right now. When I did this test originally earlier today, I got 4 complete passes out of the M1. This thing was like about half done its first pass. That's how much faster the CPU performancing is under Cinebench for the CPUs. I mean, so that is a great deal difference between an M1 and an Intel, but it's an unfair test because we're not dealing with the same amount of cores. We're not dealing with, you know, any of the graphics being anywhere near in the same ballpark. But it was an interesting test to do nonetheless, to see, you know, on screen, like, you know, this is pretty quick. Because before I got my M1, I'd only gone by YouTube videos, right? And everybody fast forwards that section for the 10 minutes because who wants to sit there? But, you know, and looking at this is like already more than 3/4 done. And we're still not even halfway done. And this is on the first pass. Both of them are. You know, and even though we hit the start buttons at the same time, there's that delay of setting up to start that draw, that render, you know what I mean? So it's kind of really neat. But anyways, that's what I got for you guys today. So some games are going to work, some games may not work. Some will just be really, others will be, yeah, okay, but you're not going to know. I can't tell you what games are going to run or not run on your M1 or any of your computers for that matter. I have no answer for that, you know, and even if you told me your configuration, I can't give you the answer. You're going to have to do it yourself, figure it out, and find out what's going to work and what's not. Now, it's not that the M1s can't do gaming really excellent. They can, if they have the right games to do it with. So you have to have the taste in the games with your M1 processored Mac, whether it's a mini, a laptop, or what have you. You have to have that taste in that particular game to want to play it, right? So, because there will be games that will probably run outstandingly awesome, but you might not like those kind of games. I'm kind of in that position. I have a limited amount of types of games that I like to play. So, you know, I have to deal with that factor as well myself. Anyways, that's all I got for you. So thanks so much for watching and just checking out this short little video of doing some comparisons just to show you what it's like running the games this way. Now, I could have showed you guys native apps because I do have native apps on both sides. So we have native Intel of the same game as the native Mac program, but I mean, there would be no point. They just both run absolutely flawless, you know, for each system that they're on, you know. One of those is Halloween, I think it's called Halloween 3D or something. It's one of the games that is now available on the App Store through Apple as a native program for the M1, right? And I have the non-native version on my MacBook. So I got to make sure I back up the non-native version there because the native version on here won't run on this one now. So they kind of did some really tricky stuff. So it's like whatever Mac you have, download it and you'll get the right one for your Mac at least from your own App Store purchase area of prior. So it's kind of going to be one of those weird things, you know. But anyway, that's all. That's it. Thanks again. See ya.